let's not necessarily ask the president questions. Let's base the questions off the back of the press and what we are discussing here.
Yes.
So
my guess is Zuma from this media. If we're going to have a re-vote, aren't you just giving the smaller parties that did very bad a chance to sort of reboot themselves and re-strategize themselves and come to the main side, see where the weaknesses were? Because it's evident that you did very well. You surprised, I think, the whole of South Africa by giving to ask for a re-vote. Aren't you just sort of the other party was re-strategizing and trying to get some kind of offer? Would it be to your disadvantage?
Okay. Shall we maybe take 5 questions and then we will respond accordingly? Yes, I'm coming. You can go ahead. Where's the mic? Where?
I can take my name is and my question to you is around the issue that what went out was MK being the tribal party. So from what you see and what from the work that was done, do you all want to that the work
I don't know what that has got to do with rigging. Zianda?
Thank you very much. It's Zianda Mo from Eastern Africa. If you're able to at this stage indicate what kind of evidence you have to prove that during that 2-hour lapse there was evidence, even if it's just at a preliminary level. And then also, if you're saying you're calling for a complete recount, where is the MK party paying itself? Because you've already achieved 32 million votes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Stephanie Glenn from Bloomberg News. Could we just get clarity on this recount? Would it just be for KwaZulu-Natal or for the entire country? And also, how long are you giving your lawyers to give you that opinion? Obviously, we've got a deadline that the IEC is working with in terms of the outcome of those results. Would you be looking to interdict the announcement of the official results as well? Thank you very much.
Okay. Let me just touch, I'll respond to some of those and then I'll hand over to my colleague. Firstly, it's a rerun. So not necessarily whole country. Okay? And where do we see ourselves? We've always said that we're coming into this to win it, not to engage in coalitions. We've always said we want to choose the majority. Because in order for us to effect organic change, we need to change this constitution. It's a fact. It can't be controlled by Roman Dutch laws. So, that's as it pertains to your question there. I'm not going to touch on the tribalism issue. Other than to say, when Mbeki was president of the ANC and he was voted, got a majority of his votes from that 2/3, it came from Eastern Cape. Was the ANC ever labeled a close about? The majority of that vote came from KZN. Was the ANC labeled the Zulu party? Was the tribalist party? So, people just try and sow divisions and bring about tribalism themselves, which is very dangerous. And we should shy away from it because Mkhonto Wesizwe is not a tribalist party, and also it actually undermines the people that wanted to vote for it. Doesn't mean just because you're Zulu and you like Mkhonto Wesizwe, you're a tribalist. What is it? And why are we having these kind of conversations in this day and age when we should be focusing on actually transforming ourselves as a people?
Okay, you can take
Did you have that one? Was it you want to respond to that one?
Is this mic on? Yeah. I think the spokesperson did indicate that I'll visit with our legal team, and as soon as that process is concluded, we will communicate what then becomes the position of the party moving forward. But we've communicated that indeed we contemplate advocating for Herrera. That is very clear, and I think that you'd understand it becomes a legal process on its own. But in relation to small parties, Umkhonto Wesizwe Party is a movement that seeks to liberate even smaller parties from the tentacles of colonialism and corruption. It is indeed going to give them an opportunity to reorganize as well. Because Umkhonto Wesizwe, when the president made an announcement on the 16th of December, he indicated the importance of African and black unity, that progressive black parties ought to unite. So it gives those progressive black parties an opportunity and also a bigger voice to raise dissatisfactions that they may not have had an opportunity to raise. So Umkhonto Wesizwe is according them that platform to also have a bigger brother that is advocating on their behalf. The evidence is provided to the IEC. We're not going to mention what kind of evidence that we've submitted in terms of our objection. But it is indeed submitted on the lead time that we were given before 6 p.m. today. And once the legal process, if it happens, you will know exactly what kind of evidence that you are referring to. So we're not going to be communicating on things that IEC ought to respond on through their object, the team that is dealing directly with the issues of objections. On, of course, this matter of tribalism, I think it's misplaced for this session. We're not going to entertain it, and we're not interested to respond on that one. IEC cannot dictate terms. IEC ought to be an institution that serves the interests of the people of this country. Whatever timeline that we have, they have the resources of the state to make sure that they run a process that's independent, transparent, accountable, and satisfactory to the citizens of this republic. If all of us are dissatisfied and not happy by the manner in which they've conducted this process that brought so much discontent, IEC cannot dictate the timelines. They ought to respect the will of the people. The very founding principles in the Constitution and the Freedom Charter, it says, and I will just cite an extract that no government can justly claim authority unless it is based on the will of the people. So if you are infringing on the very founding principles of the democratic republic of this country, there are no timelines that are going to be considered. You ought to follow a process that will support and assist in growing and developing this country. Thank you.
Let's check two things. The first one is from Zianda about the IT system. Yesterday when we picked up the information about the interference with the IT system, it is us who went to the IEC to raise the interference instead of them being proactive to tell us that there is an interference with the IT system. So that's the first thing. But we then engaged them into a meeting where they told us that it is the protection, not the actual system. And we were later briefed from, the intelligence services that it is actually a system. Yesterday we gave them a report, and advised them that the matter is already served with the security systems, the security services of the country that are monitoring these elections. And we advised them to follow that matter up. And they told us that they don't have any information in that regard. Only to find later that actually they knew. We then gave them a responsibility to actually come back and report to us after they found evidence to that effect. They haven't responded till now. Now we are continuously doing that work because we now know the interference took the whole of 2 hours. Now they haven't given us the response of the meeting they had with the security services and the report they got thereof. But secondly, to follow on that, we got an information that 2 gentlemen were picked up by the police on the allegation that they interfered with the very same system. And we wanted to know the information. We are basically following up, and soon we might be able to lay our names. The information on the names of the individual that are actually were picked up. So we will relay that at the right time. But for now, we know police were involved, 2 gentlemen were picked up, and 1 or 2 of them were working for one of the IT companies appointed by IEC. Just as an addition to that, we actually, before the election process started, wrote a letter to the IEC requesting them to give us the list of companies that were involved or appointed to run the IEC system. And they never responded to us into that effect. Our responsibility was to do due diligence on those companies, but also to request the state security to also do its due diligence, because we were told that there were some fishy elements participating in that process. That's number 1. But in terms of being a tribal party, I think that was mischievous from Gwede Mantashe. Maybe if we can help the ANC card, because it started with the Youth League, so we thought it was just one of those passing issues of young people, that wanted just to shine because it's elections. But when the national chair of the ANC raised it, it warrants us to respond accordingly. Firstly, the tribal connotation is said to be directed to President Zuma. But all of us knows that President Zuma is a proud Zulu man, practices his culture openly. That's number 1. But number 2, it is President Zuma that led the peace negotiation in KZN, wherein a Zulu nationalist party, which was the IFP, was responsible for political violence in KZN. And now it is President Zuma who engaged them and led the process that led to that peace. Part of what they were doing was to basically own into the Zulu culture. And it is President Zuma who taught us, when we were still there in the ANC, that in actual fact there is nothing wrong to be a culturalist or a Zulu and being an ANC at the same time. So it is mischievous that now President Zuma will be accused of being a tribalist. when he actually just raised an issue of being a proud Zulu man, no matter in which political party you belong to. That's number one. But what is so important about it is that the ANC needs to look into its own self as to how its structures have weakened to a point of non-existent. Firstly, it was President Mandela who actually spoke about sins of incumbents into the ANC and how the ANC is degenerating. Then it was President Mbeki who followed and advised the same thing. And then it was President Zuma. Now those things that they were advised about have led into the weakening of the ANC badly in KZN than any other province. So when actually they are defeated in KZN, they are defeated where they are weak, seriously weak. There is no leadership, if we can put it bluntly there. Having said that, is that we originate from that province, and we can tell you about the politics of that province from in and out. So the ANC needs to own up of the fact that it is weak and it cannot perform. Its structures is dead and cannot run an effective campaign. It is a war within that cannot focus into a battlefield of the elections. But let's move to the third element into that. We got more than 2.3 million votes. Half of that is spread throughout the country. But if you analyze deeper as to where are we spreading, we have good numbers in Mpumalanga, in Gauteng, and in KZN. The reason for that is that as part of our own planning, we wanted to make sure that we deploy resources where we think we can better manage them. That's why you are able to get the outcome of numbers that you see in this province. It's not tribalism. It's only a lazy thinker that will actually talk about that. We will be going on and spread. But let's flip this thing. Now, the ANC continues to grow or to maintain the numbers, even though the number of votes that they got is a bit low. They've got a good number in Limpopo. Can we say they are tribalists because the president is Venda? That's lazy thinking. And we can't claim the same because we did not do much of the work there. Can we say the same for the Eastern Cape, as Lamulo was saying? That's lazy thinking. So to label us as a tribal party when we have a national foothold is an insult to voters, especially those coming from KZN. But let's maybe let me end it there, not to take time. Thanks, Lamulo.
Thanks. Yes.
Sanbona and Kosnati Shazi from Power FM News. My question to the Umkhonto weSizwe party, why is the party focusing on a rerun considering the good work that you guys have done at the polls? So far, EMK party is the biggest winner of the 2024 general elections. You're the third largest party. You guys are governing in KZN, no number 2 in Mpumalanga. So one would think that the real work starts now. Njengoba siya 7th administrative government. So yeah, I just wanted to find out, should the party not be focused on the task ahead? And how much of a difference would this rerun make in terms of the general picture? Siyabonga.
Okay. Wait. Let me go this side now. Yes, the lady.
Bikanyo Malipi, MDN TV. I just want to check, Nkamulo, regarding the rerun, because in one of, I don't know whether to call it a rally or a meeting, one of your members said, if you guys don't get a 2/3, you're going to turn this country into a chaos. Is it another strategy of turning the country into chaos? Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Karine Duplessis. I work for the Africa Report. I have a question about the claims about the rigging when the system went down. South Africa's electoral system, or the counting, happens manually as well on paper. So there's outside each polling station there's a results slip posted, and party agents can take pictures and do a manual. Each party can actually manually have a parallel voting tabulation system. I was in Kenya for those elections where it was rigged and the system was hacked, but they didn't have a system like this. Why is the MK not making use of the backup, the manual tabulation system and counting? I mean, don't you have a parallel voter tabulation system? Thank you.
That's you. And then Natasha.
It's Velane Lutiti from Daily Maverick. Clarity. You say there were two men who were picked up by the police. Were they being arrested, or the police were picking them up somewhere else? And also, we've just seen a number of other parties coming in. Are you able to tell us if they here in support of MK? Is there a partnership being formed?
Okay.
Sorry, Ntamula, just stand at the back. Can't see it, just behind the cameras.
Sorry. Yeah, it's not.
Oh, okay. Sorry, this is also light, guys.
It's Natasha Puri here from SABC News.
A recount, what will happen, and then for in regards to the of the I can see.
My name is Lunga from the Mail and Guardian. Look, I think if Umkhonto is saying that, because there's, I think also ANC has said that there were issues of rigging and the votes were quite not, they were quite not happy. ATM has also said the same thing. Would it not be then advisable to hold the IEC CEO, I think Simon Mabulo, to account in a criminal charge? And if you are indeed given a chance that there should be a rerun, would you consider having the elections in 2 days, considering all the logistics that around the issues of the voting? Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So with that, I think let me, because I can see that there's a lot of questions around the leaders of the other political parties. I'm going to get Comrade Colleen Makubela to just do an intro on their behalf, so that you get a sense, and then we can move on to responding to that. I just want to deal with this because I can see you guys are interested to know why they're here as well.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lela, and I want to greet our father. Thank you for being a father to all of us, and the MK leadership for enabling us and allowing us the opportunity to stand here. We are truly grateful. I'm standing here on behalf of 20 political parties, and I'm going to name them. I will ask our leader in this regard to come and articulate why we are here. We are building on the foundation that has already been laid by MK Party in terms of the issues of grievances that all of us have experienced. We are not standing here as sole losers. We are standing here as parties that want to see a free, fair, and credible election. And the issues that have been articulated by the MK Party are real. They have affected all of us, and we have found a father in Ubaba, former president, who has listened to our grievances. And he said, Bantwana bami, come and articulate them before South Africa and before the world, so that whatever the outcomes of this process that you will hear will be, it would have done justice to all of us. This father understands what it means to suffer injustice. That is made to look like you are systematically wrong, but the system has been engineered to deal with you. And he has understood 20 parties that I'm going to list, and then I hand over to President Sam Kennedy, who will then articulate our position. I'm representing ACC, President is behind me, ACP, ACT ACT, ACDP, SAN, COPE, UDM, Shiluva, AADP, PA, Patriotic Alliance, CIASA, of which President Sam Kennedy is going to be talking now, PMC, AHC, AMC, ARA, UAT, AM4C, APC, Al-Jamaa, SARA, of which I'm the president of SARA, Colleen Makubele. MK is already sitting here with us. UIM, SACO, ATM, and OHM. On that note, I'll ask President Sam Kennedy to come and articulate the position of these parties that I've just listed. Thank you.
Thanks, colleagues. Thanks, friends, fellow South Africans. Quickly, we had a PLC meeting this morning, of which the PLC is the National Liaison Communication, another word is committee, between political parties and the institution called the I. That discussion was quite robust, and the CEO had to leave, so the meeting was adjourned. Well, it wasn't adjourned, the meeting was left in limbo. And because the meeting was left in limbo, political parties had a mandate from their own constituencies. How do we go forward? What are the issues? And after quite a bit of consultation, which took us most of the day, prior to our mandate consultation, or consultative mandate, the IEC had a briefing this afternoon of which you were present. And in that consultative press briefing, well, it wasn't consultative because I don't think you were given opportunity to even ask questions. But they raised a few points that we had raised vis-a-vis. One, that they spoke about a possibility of a recount. Phecelezi, they conceded that there are issues, if you look at it from a different perspective. And two, they granted what is deemed to be an extension to the condemnation. Phecelezi, siyanikeza isikhathi until 6, utshelwa ngo-4, which becomes an issue, leaves people in limbo because the gravity of the problem is quite severe. You've heard MK raising serious problems. So we sat and we put together what we felt was our plan, because we need to respond. Whether you got 1,000 votes, they're South Africans. Whether you got 50,000 votes, they're also South Africans. We have a moral, constitutional obligation to respond on behalf of the people who voted for all these parties here. The issue of voting is nothing to do at this juncture with winners and losers. The issue is to do with what is right. And so we took the appropriate action. And you'll get a copy of this letter. It's as follows. And it's been sent to Simon Mabolo. It was sent to him probably 1.5 hours ago. It says, "Dear sir, 2024 national and provincial election. The above refers. We act for and on behalf of the following political parties as articulated by Colleen Makubele, my colleague who is the president of SARA. 2, we have been instructed by our clients to direct the following correspondence to your office, pursuant to the National PLC meeting held at Gallagher Estate on the even date. Abangezwa, a meeting eyabanjwa ekseni. For it to be clear, so there's no misunderstanding. Further, the press announcement of the IEC earlier today with regards to the condonation meaning you had to have your objections in last night. They agreed to give us an extension until 6 o'clock today. The press announcement of the IEC with regards to the condonation time frame is deemed to be insufficient, unacceptable, and as a result of that, an extension to the condonation is therefore requested and required until they have until 22 hours 30 namhlanje to respond. For parties to prepare and submit the voluminous of all the problems that have been identified, observed, witnessed, experienced during this 2024 national, provincial, and this new word called regional. The onus of our clients' objections, a very short letter, through you, Chair. The crux of our clients' objections and grievances are as a result of widespread systemic irregularities and discrepancies for which our clients are, at the very least, they have prima facie evidence. Prima facie evidence at their disposal. Irregularities and discrepancies have breached our clients' constitutional rights to a free and fair election. Our clients are of the view, very strong view, that it is appropriate and reasonable to, one, extend the time frame for the condonation so that we are able to submit the requisite issues that have been experienced at voting stations, voting districts, and so forth. And further, this should not exclude major supplementary submissions. In other words, there may be submissions which are overly voluminous that may take time. For example, one of the leaders, who you'll all know, Ace Makashule, has got all the districts in the Free State which have got serious problems of irregularities. So that requires time. Hence, we're saying should not be limited to supplementary submissions. Two, defer you need to listen to this very clearly. Saying defer the declaration announcement. In other words, the announcement yabo yakusasa ayimiswe, must be deferred pending the conclusion of the matter and the outcome of all submissions lodged. In closing, our clients strongly disagree with the pronouncement of the limited recount provision made by you today. Well, you never had a chance to respond, but I'll tell you what he said. The chairperson said that there may be some recounts, which sounds very much autocratic or authoritarian. We are saying, look at all, don't look at one and then whitewash the process. The myriad irregularities identified, and we use a very nice word called myriad because we don't even know how many there are. I think they're indefinite. The myriad irregularities identified by our clients indicate that there are more serious, widespread, systemic deficiencies in the internal processes of the IEC, which justify the remedial action that our clients urgently seek. In this regard, should the IEC not respond, you need to listen to this very clearly. So in this regard, should the IEC not respond reasonably in the circumstances, our clients will have no choice but to consider all legal options. Pekelezi, we will institute urgent relief in terms of the appropriate rights accorded to us in terms of the law to ensure that there's no declaration made. Because once they make a declaration, it becomes difficult to reverse that. So when we say this is an ultimatum, let me just say in closing for my brother, there's 22 parties, but with an additional 4, there are 26 parties which represent 50% of what is on the ballot paper. That is serious business. We've been compromised and it needs to be dealt with. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Controversies of being painted as a violent party. Our rallies in young children, grannies, very peaceful rallies. So to try and paint us with a brush of violence and make it seem as if we are a leadership that or an organization that represents such is a total misconception, and we condemn that. We've never heard anyone mention the fact that we've had close to 12 murdered members of ours. You media don't cover it. You don't mention people who want to see change and who want to associate themselves with the party being murdered. You never report on that. You never report on the fact that, by the way, just last night, we lost 2 members who were murdered. But yet you want to paint us with a brush of violence. What narrative are you trying to drive? That's why I'm saying it's also important that my colleagues, yourself as the media, when we report, we need to report responsibly. President Zuma has never ever uttered words of violence. The characteristics of this party are that of a person that is leading us in the form of President Zuma. None of you have ever even heard President Zuma raise his voice. He's a selfless, peace-loving man. So what are you saying about South Africans that are supporting Mkhonto we Sizwe, that voted for Mkhonto we Sizwe, even those whose votes were not counted? What are you saying about this? So that this narrative of violence must come to an end. We need to respond and report positively. We need to instill confidence in this society of ours. There was another question, Comrade Muzi. There was a question around the till slips. I think just give them an example. They want to get some insight in that.
So there's a question on, there is a manual and an electronic counting. But if you understand the system, the only manual counting that happens is at the voting station. And once the result slip leaves the voting station, it goes to the regional election center where it's captured into the system, where no party representation was allowed to oversee the process of capturing. And that's where most discrepancies, acts of corruption and criminality took place. So suggesting that there are mechanisms or integration of two processes that ought to bring about credibility is extremely misplaced. That the only process or phase where there is representation of party agents is the physical counting at a voting station. Thereafter, IEC takes over. As to whether we're going to criminally charge the CEO of IEC, that will be determined by the process that we are on. We are not going to make any determination now, but if the process that we are on suggests that grave misconduct and criminal activities did indeed take place, we still have confidence in our law enforcement agencies to do the right thing. And the parties that are gathered here will also make it a point that people are brought to book so that we cleanse the corrupt system of the country that has been presided over by a period of 30 years, marginalizing individuals and parties that would have wanted to contribute positively in changing the material conditions of the people of this country is stopped. So we will make it a point that happens. I think other questions is that we didn't enter or decide to contest elections to celebrate any victory. It was to our consciousness and pain, given the indignity and the conditions of black people of this country, that we had to take a stand and contest elections to liberate them completely. So we were not going to celebrate 2 odd millions of votes while other parties remain marginalized, while other individuals of this country did not have an opportunity to exercise their democratic rights in determining the type of government they want for themselves and for the future of this country. So we're not going to sit back and celebrate 2 odd millions of votes while we regard ourselves as activists, because as activists we will always stand against any form of injustice. Wherever we see injustice attempting to germinate, we will step up and make it a point that it doesn't find any form of traction. Thanks, John.
Thank you. With that, I think we've touched on most of it. Look, I would like to give, because I think you're here also for President Zuma. Not me, not us. We've presented what our position is, but I'd like to give our Commander-in-Chief, Comrade President Zuma, an opportunity to address yourselves. Oh, those ones.
President.
Yeah. No, because I don't understand why I go there when every talk has been here. No, thank you, Chair. Ladies and gentlemen, I was not meant to say anything, but I said to myself, here are my friends, the media. I must laugh with them once and whatever. But firstly, it is the first time I'm speaking after we were been trying to convince South Africans to change the manner in which we've been handling ourselves. And I thought it was important for me at this point thank the voters who have voted for real progressive parties who indeed are keen that we should change South Africa to be a country that is really democratic, a country that respects its laws and everything. I think people came in big numbers. And I want also to recognize our colleagues who are with us here, because I think we are on the same direction to fix this country. We've said a lot during the process when we're talking to our people. And I think even now my colleagues have responded to a number of questions. And indeed, in my view, South Africa has been deteriorating from what we all envisaged it to be. I'm, for an example, worried now that we are saying there are wrong things that have happened during, whether it's accounting or whatever you call it. And the institution that is given an authority to handle this for us, not for itself, for us, the citizens, guided by the principles and the laws. And if we raise the issues, that there are issues that need to be attended to, they have an authority to say, sorry, we give you just a few minutes. And then we close. I don't know what type of a democracy that one is on the people whom are supposed to be given this democracy. And they are pushed as if we are prisoners. Somebody forcing you to get into the cell before they lock. The complaints that they've been put forward are too serious. Very, very serious. This is not, or they are not like small little points. They are very, very serious. Before we could come to voting, many trucks were caught, driven by wrong people, instead of those who participate in making it sure that everything is done properly, fairly. And we, for an example, haven't heard the end of those. Because some of the trucks were driven by people who were not supposed to be closer to them. There is a tendency in this country just to ignore serious matters. There are people who get arrested even if they've done nothing. But there are people who commit serious crimes. Nothing happened to them. Actually, the judges would say there's nothing wrong with these. And you can't say we have a democracy that we fought for in this country. We are saying we have to address the problems that we have, that have developed in the process of complete term. We have a bill for the earth to demand that. It is us, citizens. Institutions can't then say we can't listen to you and let, because Because that is provoking people in reality. Two, institutions deal with the price of it. People stand up and do somebody, these people, they must be shot, they must be arrested. It is a serious matter. In fact, there's a lot that is out. My colleagues here that nobody must force us to say now this is what are as a result. Well, the results are not correct. I think the institutions must satisfy us that they did look into the issues. It's the first time ever since freedom we had people arrested doing wrong things. First time. I'm sure we all know that some people got arrested. You don't know? You are not journalists then. There's something else. Journalists must know everything, don't you know? Huh? Yes. We are going to need the time. Nobody must declare tomorrow. No. If that happens, people will be provoking us because we know what we are talking about. We are not guessing. We know. And why should they rush to count? And I'm hoping whoever is responsible is hearing what we are saying. Don't start trouble when there is no trouble. Give the political parties, which I think they are a majority, the chance to present their cases, their information, their everything. Don't rush us. Part of the reason we've come to a point that there should be a bigger way of dealing with the matter. These who have been in charge can't investigate themselves. That's why we say there must be an open, clear investigation done by the, what did you say?
Commission of Inquiry.
Commission of Inquiry. It is us. Our parties are not having what they voted for. For an example, there's something they call, I don't know what it is called. Some say it's the machines crashed. There are no machines that crashed. The machines were being done things as wrong. We know, we are going to present that. We are going to present that. Nobody must rush us. And if they were doing anything for us, for our country, then they must listen to us. No rush. No rush. If this is the first time since our freedom we have problems. Problems have emerged, and you must also agree that the feeling of the people of this country, maybe as journalists, I don't know what type of people, we have not noticed. It's the first time that there's a party in 5 months bigger than anybody else. It tells you how people are angry in this country. I know you guys, you write very nice, perhaps for your bosses or whatever, I don't know. The truth must be the truth. The truth must be the truth. Because because they've got no other way, if they decide to stand up and do whatever, they're going to be arrested. Let us deal with this now properly. We are complaining. Here are parties, the majority of the parties. Many things have gone wrong. Let us allow us to deal with the institution until we are happy. There is no rush. There's nobody who's going to die if we did not announce the results tomorrow. What are we rushing? We've been tolerant for a long time when things happen. Even when people commit crimes, they are not arrested. Those who commit no crime are arrested. We've not made noise. But here, this is the way, peacefully, to put this country at the right place. Nobody's going to announce tomorrow. Unless they were not working with us.
Yeah.
You can't have dictators who are going to tell you, when we tell them there are problems, they say no problem. When the problems are there, when they know them. We have got more information to give. Why do you rush to close the gap so that you move? We're not children. No. As coach is on sweet. No. I just thought I should make that point, that we should be clear, all of us. Let us all work together. We are very keen. We need fair, what is another word we prefer? Free and credible. And transparent. Kanyangale. This time around, it is very serious. It is very, very serious. There are numbers that have been pushed from one direction to the other. We know it. And that must come out. There are many things. There are things, this thing of being rushed, bring your report now, because by this time we are closing. But who are you working for? They're supposed to be employed by us. I'm saying this, people, because this is not for us to trouble us as South Africans. We are here for peace, to everything nicely. That's why, because we knew we needed 2/3 majority. Don't try to interfere with that by doing all the tricks in public. Are we with us? No.
No.
We are with them. Now I'm saying those whom we are asking to receive our complaints must be tolerant. Take our complaints and move forward. Because if that does not happen, it means we must go to court. And then even say no announcement. We say so in court and produce evidence why we say so. I don't think we need to reach there. Because we'll do it. We are not playing around. We are changing our country so that our people get out of poverty. And to other people it may mean nothing, to us it means a lot. We must not cause trouble here. We are saying we want, and I think the presentation that has been done by my friend here very clear, very clear. We have information to give to show discrepancies and I'm saying this because I want people who work with us understand us and hear us. We are doing it with comradely. Comradely. But I would like to thank you. In fact, you should be thanking that political parties peacefully come here to make the same point, all of them. Now, if we don't listen to them, maybe if you said, no, Mkhonto wesizwe kuphela lo, osho njalo, we will still be saying we are wrong because we've got information. Now, almost all the parties allow. Now, who are you going to be telling what is yours, what is not yours, when we are not happy with your performance? When we are telling you the weaknesses in your performance, what has gone wrong, so that you can reach an agreement, what then do we do? Because you can't trick us when we know you have, and we also agree. Centuries. And therefore, we are supporting that let us be given a chance to present our complaints, which we have, which are serious. Some people might be bruised when these facts are there. We can't then allow institutions to poo-poo these things as if nothing has happened. That is a point we are making very strongly, and we are agreed. And I think doing it in peace, comradely. What is another one? Comradely? Friendly. Partnershiply. In harmony. It is serious, because these are serious people who have done serious things, and we cannot allow them. We cannot. This time around, it must be fair and what, Ness? Free. Transparent. Credible. Nice. And fair. And fair. I thought I should just make those points because the matter is not as simple. It's very serious. It's about a country, South Africa. It's about a country we call democracy. In democracy, you can't suffocate people because you have an authority and say, no, we are delayed, I've heard, but we have got facts. I hope we've been heard, we the parties that are saying we need to present our misgivings to those who have been in charge. I don't want to be telling you about it. I know some people are asking, what is it that has happened? We must give those people, we must be gentle. Give them first before you guys. Once they have it, I'm sure you will know. You will know what we are talking about. Because it is a serious matter. You know, one of the reasons, as I was talking to people throughout this country, I said many things have got to be changed, including the manner in which elections are done. Why should they, at some point when you vote, it's not secret, but when people count, it's secret. Why? Yes. Why? And part of the reason, all of us, I can tell you, we are going to be on the same side in changing this country. So that we've got a country for our children that is truthful, smooth, is moving very well. I don't think we have time to be joking. It's a serious matter. The very fact that up to now we have not implemented what we will implement when we're fighting for freedom, that tells you how big the problem is. We want to correct it so that everybody is happy in this happy country. And we cannot therefore allow people to say we're not going to listen to you. But they caused, or they came as this institution because they were working for us, making us to campaign, to vote. It's not their business, it's our business. Thank you very much.
Can you ask a follow-up? Please, just a follow-up.
No, there won't be any questions
Thank you,
for
Tamu.
President.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, President has to make his way. And thank you for gracing us with your presence and for giving us the opportunity, and for President Zuma to speak. Thank you, President. This is the end of the briefing.
I'm sure he does, and I'm sure he's going to choose tender-rich positions that he's going to bargain for, because we all know how he works from his history in Limpopo and other places. So this is no surprise to me. We always knew that that was his ultimate aim, but I think the price he's going to demand from the ANC is that Cyril Ramaphosa goes, and then I think that he will come in, or try to come in. And it is what the DA has been warning about. It's what our burning flag ad warned about very graphically. We said that if it happens that the MK, ANC and EFF can form a coalition, South Africa's economy will burn, South Africa's democratic institutions will burn, and all of those things were symbolized by the flag. And then we showed at the end the whole flag again, saying DA government can return us to the South Africa we envisaged in 1994.
This is News Live SA.
For the first time in 30 years, the ANC has lost its majority. It is sitting at around 41% of the vote. We are now in coalition territory. And I want to give you the assurance that as we navigate these new choppy waters over the coming days and weeks, as we start to meld together the new story for South Africa, the DA will act with maturity, with a cool head, and always put the country first. We will do what we can to protect South Africa from the terrible consequences of radical policies, of governments that do not care, and coalitions of corruption that want to take our country backwards. We remain committed, as the second largest party in the country, to working hard every day to writing this new chapter of hope, prosperity, opportunity, for many, many more South Africans. Thank you, South Africa, for your trust in me and my party. We will not let you down. We are with you all the way. And as I said to you the entire way during the campaign, help is now on the way.
You mentioned anger among your members. Are there threats of violence?
Shahan, this is not a time to play games here, okay? We're talking about a volatile environment here. So let's not play games about violence. This is a very serious matter. We're saying that there is serious concern that is being brought by members of society to us. And as leaders, it's important that we air and share, those concerns with the rest of the members of civil society. So, and as you heard Muzi say, and that's our position, we're urging our members to not act in any way that is violent. We will continue to practice, a peaceful process in terms of our campaign and how we've been through today. And that's that. But we are raising these concerns and we are rejecting these, and we request a recount in the areas. And we've made it very clear in the letter that we sent to the CEO. That's it. So let's not create a narrative that Umkhonto weSizwe is, raging for violence. No, that's not true.
So what's due cause in terms of this evidence that you're saying you'll provide to us? What's due cause? Today, tomorrow morning, Sunday afternoon?
Just allow the process to unfold. We will communicate. If it means we call another press, I will do so.
So when you say process to unfold, we are probably
our internal processes.
Okay.
So we're collecting all the documentation
all the
and
documentation,
the evidence
so that whatever we pursue is informed by the documents that we'll also share with you guys.
Oh, 100%, the whole town is us. The votes, the ballot paper, there are no ballot papers in the box, but there is a report. And we know that we have won. It's not only that area. Basically, almost the entire province. In Bloemfontein, where we have support, out of 134,000, They say we have 890 votes. That is not the case.
Ace, did you launch?
We're gonna prove that. Yes, we before 9, because we are consulting with lawyers. Before 9, we shall have lost everything. Our guys have gone to the police, affidavits all over. We can show you some boxes in a simple place.
I would like to see them, but also,
Yes,
Ace,
let's show you.
the opportunity to raise disputes with the
No,
IEC.
we are raising them.
Are you raising
before
them now?
9.
Were you not raising them during the process?
No. We've got we were collecting information throughout the. This is Kronstadt. This is Kronstadt. Look at it. We can send it to you.
Yes, please do.
This is News Live SA.
In a coalition now, we need to get together in Parliament, bring parties together, and then say to ourselves, how do we create a government that works for all the people? And that's why I said to you, anyone who's got representation in Parliament, they need to sit with their leaders, create a pathway forward, build a government that works for everyone. If we fail to do that, I think we'll have different problems.
It's not like you've got a shopping list of clear-cut factors that you're keen on working with.
In this such a fragmented society, if you don't work hard at bringing everyone together, you could run the risk of ethnic mobilization that puts races at odds with each other. We can't be choosing on that basis. We need to work to deliver votes in the interest of all South Africans.
All right, thank you.
This is News Live SA.
Yeah,